After finishing Dark Souls on stream, I decided to make a boss tier list. Right now, you're watching an edited down video of that. Let's lay down some ground rules on how I'm gonna be judging these. How will I be thinking about rankings here? Difficulty. How long it took me to kill the boss, or how I perceive the difficulty of the boss. It's not a detriment to the boss if the boss is hard or difficult. If anything, it's probably a plus. If I took down a boss on the first try, it's kind of a red flag. Maybe not a red flag, but it's a strike against the boss. 2. Lore, or like history of the boss. The more, the clearer, the cooler, the better. You get points for that. Yeah, basically it's a point system. I should be thinking about it like this. You get points for difficulty, you get points for coolness, you get points for history lore. What else? Oh, points for design, points for the look of the boss. Yeah, that's about it, maybe. We'll make adjustments as we go. Okay, so 4 kings. 4 kings. Good lore. Ooh, okay, so 4 kings definitely get points for the enemy arena. I guess let's call it that. The whole abyss looks really cool. The abyss that we fought 4 kings in is much cooler than abyss in the Manus fight. I'll say that much. Also, what will we be awarding points to? We will be awarding points for mechanics maybe of the boss. So the whole bit about them spawning in one after, they do spawn in one after another, and the fact that they share a health bar, that's quite a few points for them. Good arena, not too difficult, but not too hard, like not too easy maybe. You kind of have to learn the fight. I'm thinking basically, do I want to put them in A or B? Because they're sort of in between for me. I guess I'll also adjust some rankings as we go along, because I want to see like how bosses in the tier themselves compare to one another. So let's maybe, okay, Fargrim is thinking B. Let's temporarily put them in A, like with a pencil, not a pen. Gaping Dragon, easy boss. Didn't like the design is kind of basic. The fighting arena is not that interesting. Defeated it quite easily, so maybe I didn't see all of the attacks. It's a D, maybe a C. No, it's a D. It's a D. Yeah. Okay, so Seath, interesting, very cool lore. Probably the coolest. Well, the lore is heavily tied to Artorias, and I think Artorias. Okay, I'm quickly scanning the bosses. Artorias has the coolest lore, possibly. Yeah. But Seath is also heavily tied to the lore. Mediocre fighting arena. Oh, now that I think about it, he does the swiping like Seath with the sword in his jaws. He does the sweeping attack that Artorias does as well. That was very hard for me to dodge in Artorias fight. Is that something Seath like saw Artorias doing, or maybe Artorias himself taught the dog that? The wolf that? But the problem, like the biggest problem with Seath is that I took him down on my first attempt, and that might have been, besides Pinwheel, the only boss. Well, okay, like Asylum Demon, and Taurus Demon. He was the only later game boss that I took down on my first attempt, which is a little bit of a ding, sorry to say. But lots of points for cool lore, so I'm gonna put him temporarily in A. Yeah, Gwyn. No, that's a tough one. This is a tough one. The arena where we fight Gwyn, very cool. He gets by far the best music. Yeah, he gets by far the best music. The main antagonist, well, he doesn't really antagonist, the final boss of the game. Good design. The flaming sword is very cool. Thematically, I do like that he's basically on his last leg. I don't know if I killed him on my second attempt, and then I went back, so I rewatched the WOD, and I was doing insane damage to him. That is probably why. Because the bleed stacked to a point where I did like 6 attacks, and the 6th attack did almost 2k damage to him. I didn't notice that during the fight because I was like too busy, but then I went back and watched the WOD. I hit him 6 times in quick succession, and then the final hit did 2k damage, which is insane, I think. But basically what drags Gwyn down is the fact that I killed him on my second attempt. And I do think that was weirdly anticlimactic, for my build at least. I expected a little bit more of a challenge. So like, where do you put that? I can't put him in B, so he's A. But he's the most, is he the most interesting? Okay, so we will also do rankings within tiers. So this is how I would rank them within tier A. Gwyn, Four Kings, and Sith. A lot of bosses in A tier so far. I don't like that. Okay, but we will be getting worse bosses. Yeah, we're gonna fill up that D tier, I think, as well, quickly. Okay, Iron Golem. I think he has to go in C. The area where we fight him, not that interesting. Design, not that interesting. Basically just a big guy, right? Ultimately. But the reason why I remember him and the reason why I like him is I think it taught me the way to fight bosses from then on. And that is to stay as close to them as possible. Like, he's the biggest. Is he the biggest, like, physically? I think he's the biggest, right? But the way I fought him is I was glued to his leg for the whole fight. And that is the tactics. That is sort of the tactic and the way that I fought every other boss, I think, from then on. Or maybe not like every boss, but the way I did like to fight is to stay close to the boss as physically as possible. Like, I wanted to smell their sweat. I wanted to feel their skin on my skin. When I drew blood from them, I wanted that blood to splatter on me. So that is the impression that Iron Giant made on me. Sorry, Iron Golem. Why do I keep calling him Iron Giant? Oh, it's because of the movie, right? Yeah, the Iron Giant. There was a movie. Don't forget it's TP movie. Oh, Tyser, yes, he teleported me. Yeah. For people who weren't there when I fought him, there was a glitch where he struck ground near my character, didn't hit me, but that teleported me like 20 feet or like 20 meters to the opposite side, and I fell off the platform. Okay, Moonlight Butterfly. A weak C, like barely in C tier. A couple of reasons. Or like the most point she gets, the butterfly does, is the unique mechanic where you have to wait for her to fly down, I guess, to rest, and then you attack her. I do enjoy her uniqueness in that where you have to just to dodge her a bunch of times, and you only get limited amounts of like a few seconds to attack her. She has like incredibly short punishment. Although Moonlight Butterfly is fairly easy boss, right? If you are ranged or a caster, Moonlight is very, very easy. That tracks, Sean. The thing is, I don't think a lot of you were here when I first fought her. It took me like 15 tries to kill her. She's in the top 5 bosses who killed me the most. And before you go typing in a storm, okay? Yeah, I did Butterfly after Gargoyles. So Butterfly was my like 4th or 5th boss. And the thing is, it took me a really long time to figure out that I need to be standing in front of the stone wall to avoid her attacks and not get hit. Because like prior to that, I had trouble dodging her attacks. Let's move on. I think we spent way too long on Butterfly here. Nito. Oh, Nito feels like a good B tier. Maybe high C? He's either very weak B tier or very strong C tier. So Nito, one of the 4 Lord bosses. I do like that he's a necromancer. I think he gets points for his design. So basically the thing that I liked most about him is his design, his accumulation of skeletons, that he is himself just a merging of a bunch of skeletons. That's pretty cool. The place where Nito loses points for me, I defeated him in a very dumb way. I basically face tanked his AoE attacks. And I just hit him and I would heal the attacks. Kind of a dumb way to kill him. I don't know if that is the consensus. Is that how everyone else kills him? Is there like a cheese way? Is there another more interesting way to kill him? Oh, there we go, folks. Next up we have Ornstein and Smough and Ghost. I think you're right. This is S tier. This is better than every boss in A tier. Why? The only 2 enemy boss, I don't know how to call it, but there's basically 2 enemies, 2 health bars that you have to grind from 100 to a 0. Points for uniqueness. I don't think I would be lying by saying this is the only boss in the base game that has phase 2, like a distinct phase 2 that even is introduced with a cinematic. It's definitely the only boss that gets a cinematic mid-fight, right? If you don't count the Bed of Chaos, I guess. And then the fact that you can kill either one of them and the remaining one gets the powers of the others, very cool. The area where you fight them in, it's well designed because of the pillars. I don't think it's like visually impressive. Okay, Pinwheel, D tier. Sorry. The second boss after Seath I defeated in my first attempt. Why did Pinwheel get a cinematic, by the way? Is there a good reason for that? I barely remember him. The fastest fight? The fighting arena sucks? Yeah, there's like nothing to Pinwheel. Seath. Interesting. Seath is either very low B tier or C tier. And the points that Seath gets, mostly I'll give him points for beautiful design. I do think like he, as a dragon, is quite beautiful. The gimmick where you have to first kill the crystal that powers him, I don't kind of like that. What else? You know what? I would lodge this complaint against Seath. Too big for the arena. He, like, either arena should have been bigger. The crystal is what makes him immortal. He doesn't have scales of immortality. Oh, he doesn't. Yes, Sean. So that's connected to what we saw in the lore video where only Gwyn's lightning bolts could damage those scales. Oh, from lore standpoint, Seath is actually quite interesting because he was the one, ultimately that's not really touched upon in the game, right? But he ultimately ends up betraying other dragons. He betrays his own kin. And in reward, what does he get? A big library? Yeah, like sure, Fargrim, it is said in the intro, but I do want to know more about it then, you know? Like, why did he do it? To get a big library where he could, oh, I'm peeking, sorry. To get a big library where he could read books? He gets part of the Lord's Soul? Sure. Oh, he gets some immortal. Wait, does he get the crystal that makes him immortal? I do respect Seath because he's interesting. He got immortality. You know what? Would I betray humanity for immortality? Chat. Would you betray humanity for immortality? Probably wouldn't do it because immortality kind of low-key, immortality kind of sucks, by the way. Also, you have to, you know, deal with stuff like people you like and love dying consistently, and you not being able to forge any meaningful human relationship with them. You had the liberty to research to develop the crystal. Yeah, I don't think I would have taken Seath's deal, but then again, I wasn't living in their time. Asylum Demon, kind of a boring design. The only thing that he gets is that he's the first boss and you are taught the lunging attack. Besides that, there's nothing. Stray Demon, also D tier. Basically reskinned Asylum Demon that you also fight in the Asylum. We are filling up the D tier like very, very quickly. Because folks, Taurus Demon, D tier. The only fun thing is that you learn, well, it's not that you even learn to do the like drop down attack because Asylum Demon taught you that. Taurus Demon teaches you, I guess, to be aware of your surroundings better. That's it. D tier. Okay, Bed of Chaos. So this might be a little bit controversial, but I'm gonna put her in B. And let me say my piece. Let me reason with you, okay? 1. Unique boss. Nothing like any other boss. Personally, I wasn't hit by bad RNG. It didn't take me a lot of time to actually kill her. Like, it took me a couple of tries, and that was mostly because when you need to jump onto the wood thing in the middle, I kept missing. That's it. I knew this was a controversial choice, but I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick to my guns, okay? I have my takes, and I'm gonna let them be known. So, unique boss, I really like the lore behind her as well. The fact that she went mad trying to rekindle the first bonfire and shrunk down to a bug that you just squash. Very cool to me personally. I don't know why that's cool. It's just she tried something, you know, and she didn't succeed, went mad, got reduced to a bug. Sort of a, you might say, Kafka-esque ending to a character. All right, folks, we've arrived to my favorite boss. Easily. If there was an S+ tier, keep in mind S+ tier. Easily. Best lore in the game. Best fight in the game. Bar none. Not even ONS come close. I've said this on the last stream on Monday, but Artorias fight speak to me because he is a humanoid character that wields a weapon, a sword, and a battle against him feels like a dance. You dodge his attacks, you get your attack in, you dodge back. The attacks look cool, just the rule of cool is very, very prevalent here. Because the somersaults, then he does, yes, SSS, S plus, S17 plus, the highest of tiers. Because the attacks he does, where he does the 3 somersaults, and I dodge every somersault, and I get 1 blick in, and I dodge. I get 1 attack in, and I dodge. Again, not a display of my like incredible skill or anything, or that I know how to play this game, but it just, in the moment, it felt so cool to do that. And it looked so cool. Kalameet. I guess B tier, but kinda low. The best part about his fight was when we saw the hawk ground him down. The cinematic was basically the best part. Wasn't too hard. Maybe, you know what, chat? I wanted to say, is it a hot take to say that I kinda don't care for dragons all that much? Not even in this game, but like in general. I think they're low-key overrated. They're basically the staple of a lot of fantasy stories, books, movies, games. They've been overdone. There's some good ones. I might change my opinion, especially about dragons in Dragon Souls, Dragon Souls in Dark Souls, or I might need to play Dragon's Dogma, change my opinion. But they've been done to the bone. Like, what new can you come up in terms of, you know, interesting dragons? This guy. I'm offering only the hottest takes, okay? I've grown tired of dragons. I think there's a lot of other cool mythical creatures that get overshadowed by dragons. Yes, Sean, also good point. Dragons kind of hog the limelight. They get all the attention, and I think we could do better with dividing that attention towards, you know, pick your poison, manticores, chimeras. What are other interesting, underused mythical creatures? A lot of them. I'll think about. I'll make a anti-dragon argument stronger. Griffins. Yes, thank you, Sean. If anyone else has a mythical creature they would like to see more in fiction or elsewhere, please chime in the comments. Okay, let's move on. Manus. Is Manus S tier? See, I think he might be S though. Because he's either very strong A or a very weak S tier for me. So, okay, let's put him in S and talk about this. Why would I put him S tier? Strong fight. He gets point for that. Lots of abilities. He's the hardest boss. You know what? I'll put him in S tier mostly off the back of the fact that he's the hardest boss. Personally to me. Talking about Manus. Strongest boss, hardest boss, a lot of attacks, good lore, final boss of DLC. Strong story. Sanctuary Guardian. Very strong B. And mostly, I'm deducting points. No, he's B. He's strong B. He's strong B because he's a tough boss. Interesting design. Well, sort of, a little bit of an interesting design because he has a lot of different features from a lot of different mythical creatures, which goes along well with what we have talked about already. He's not better than those two. He's in the middle of B tier for me. Like the look, has a lot of moves. Arena is like whatever, and there's no lore. Like the biggest drag against Sanctuary Guardian, or at least I missed the lore. Kinda just not an interesting character. He's not a character. Yeah, putting him in the middle of B tier feels fine. Okay, so Bell Gargoyles. This might be controversial. I think they're B tier. Purely, they get the most points because they're the boss that killed me the most. I died close to 40 times to Bell Gargoyles. No other boss took me more than 15, 16, 17? Which has to count for something, right? Usually, if I had killed them, they'd definitely be in C tier. Oh, I was wrong about Ornstein and Smough being the only bosses that, like, there are 2 of them. Because there are 2 Bell Gargoyles as well. It's A? Nah. They don't have lore. Fighting them on a rooftop is kinda cool. No, I think they're... Unless I really want to overvalue the fact that they were the hardest boss for me. That's basically the only reason why I put them A. Okay, I'll put them over Sanctuary Guardian. They do have good music, Sean. Good call. Okay, I'll move them up 1 more. Wait, I also like Seath more than Nito. I'm fine with this for now. Capra Demon. Maybe C? Does it matter? He's a very strong D. Okay, let's put him as a very strong D. Because no lore, a very tight fighting space, which is a little bit interesting. I do like his attack where he grabs both of his like swords and he swings them. Yeah, I think he's D. Ceaseless Discharge. Honestly, C. Very low D. No. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Because I have a microphone in front of my face. Lore reasons. So Ceaseless Discharge. Why did I put him C? Cool design, kinda. Physically, okay. So physically, he's bigger than Iron Golem. Actually, he's physically the fact that he guards his dead sister's grave, I find endearing, and his design is very cool. So that's basically why he ends up in C tier. Centipede Dragon. Demon, Centipede Demon. D tier. The only thing interesting about Centipede Dragon is the fact that the area where you fight him is the lava area. And that's the best thing I could say about that demon. You put Ceaseless in C and Centipede in D. Yeah, Ceaseless at least has lore. And also, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure about that, the grave that Ceaseless is protecting, that's the grave where we got the Dark Wraith looking armor from, which is the armor that I used for the whole game. You don't like Centipede much? Yeah. Like, I killed Centipede also, I think, on my second attempt. The design is not that interesting. You do like it better than Ceaseless. But think about the lore, though. Maybe I am overvaluing lore a little bit, but that's the sort of player I am. Not even player, but that's where my interests lie, in the lore. Okay, Chaos Witch Quelaag, that's a C. But like a good C. Like a strong C. So Quelaag, interesting design. I do have a weak spot for weapons, for like fire weapons, and she has a fire weapon. So points for that. Sort of interesting lore as one of the daughters of, okay, I'm gonna say Guinevere or Gwyndolin. Guinevere, I think, right? Daughter of Guinevere. Not too hard of a fight. Kinda has a theme, even though the theme, the whole spider, like webs, silk, all of that has been done to death. A bunch of other media, but it's still solid. Okay, so Priscilla, I didn't fight. I can't rank her, right? Gwyndolin. Okay, Gwyndolin is interesting. I don't want to put them in D almost. In B. But like low tier B. Couple of reasons. Interesting lore. Yeah, definitely in B because of the lore. Because they kept up the illusion of Anorlando. Interesting, not a hard fight, but interesting mechanics. Unlike anything else in the game. Because I'm just like looking through. She was teleporting. Basically had to do a lot of running. It's like there's an easy, simple way to defeat her, but it's unique, so they get points for that. Okay, so I didn't fight Priscilla, and there's Demon Firesage left, which is easily D tier, because it's reskinned Stray Demon and Asylum Demon. Actually, let me put, yeah, okay. So quickly, let's look through if I want to make any adjustments within the tiers. Okay, I'll maybe put Golem ahead of Witch. I'm kind of ambivalent about Seath having the highest position in B tier, but I wouldn't want to put Gargoyles as well, like in front of him, so it's fine. Did I put 4 Kings too high? Yeah, I'll put Sif above, ahead of them. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about the list, honestly. It's a pretty good list. I mean, it's, it's representative of my interests. I think people who listened to my parameters on how I judge the bosses here, the results are logical. If you listen to my judgment criteria here, Dark Souls, good game.